Hey mate, how are ya?
G'day, mate. Good. How are you? What is happening this fine day?
Oh, it's been another busy one, another crazy week of weddings. Man, it's just been so surreal. Just the amount of weddings and just how many like cool couples I've been filming lately. It's just it's just like blown it out of like the water. You know when you just get like a run of just some really amazing weddings, everything just goes together, like colors working well, and just the work you're doing is just on top of the world. I'm feeling good, mate. I'm feeling good. How are you?
Are you sure that head fits through the door, mate? Listen to you giving yourself a little bit of a spiel there of how good you are, hey?
I'm just things that I'm trying some different things in the business, trying some different things in how I'm shooting, and I suppose just trying to up the ante with client experience. And I just feel like it's all coming into place. Got a couple of reviews, some feedback this week, and it's just giving me a massive head, mate. I can't get out of my office at the moment.
It's good. It's good. Very good. I had a pretty good weekend too, actually. I had a couple of epic weddings, and I even got on a plane and went to a wedding this weekend. So that was pretty cool. A little bit different. Felt a bit bougie jumping on a plane.
That's a new level of Matt Ashton.
I know. It was experience, that's for sure. I'll tell you what, though, this is a little bit of a pretty funny story. I was like sitting at the airport, and I like got home pretty late the night before. The next morning I woke up, went to the airport, sat there, and I was looking at this dude like opposite me, and he looked so what's the word? Unwell, let's just call it that, right? And I was like, oh man, like whoever sits next to this guy is going to definitely get sick, hey? Like, everyone's in trouble because he looked like he was in pain, or he had a really big night the night before, or he was just really under the weather. Anyway, get
just
in the plane.
What you want before you shoot a wedding? Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Get in the plane, sit down, and lo and behold, I bloody jinxed myself, and he's sitting next to me, and he's like dying, low-key dying, and I was like, awesome. So that was a good start to the weekend. And then on the plane on the way home, I sat next to the most nervous flyer I have ever experienced in my entire life. Like, this guy was like scratching at the seat in front of him, and like, oh man, it was so bad. Anyway, that's enough about my experience of the flying. But it was good weekend, different, cool to get on a plane, change it up. But anyway,
Matt Ashton, destination wedding photographer, hey?
Apparently, yeah, we're just changing it up in the world, keeping it interesting, and, it was cool. So if you're out there and you want me to jump on a plane to come to your wedding, please let me know, because I'm all for it.
Sign me up, baby. Sign me up. Well, what's on the cards today, mate? We got a special one. We got a real special one.
Mate, we do have a real special one, and it's one that I feel like we've been needing to have to happen for a long time, because, there's a lot of elements to a wedding, and I feel like this topic we're talking about today, which is floral and styling, is probably one of the biggest, and it really can make or break your wedding. And I know we say that a lot, but I feel like this really shows, the direction, and it really, elevates your wedding to another level if you have the right people around you. So yeah, today is going to be amazing, and we have the legendary Emily from Two Wild Hearts here to chat to us, to give us all of her golden nuggets, her styling goodness, and her floral, wizardry. Is it wizardry? Yeah, can't say witch, that's bad. But anyway, Emily's here, and we've just been talking smack about her, and she's laughing at me. That was a good start. Love it.
You just called our guest a witch.
Well, I was like, wizardry's a little bit like sexist, isn't it? Anyway, but regardless, Emily is amazing, and I absolutely love what she does, and we've been working together for a fair while now, and it's so good to get you on the podcast today, Emily. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. I feel like I'm going to change my bio to floristry witch of the South Coast.
Well, I didn't say witch first. I did say wizard, but anyway, it's fine.
Apology incoming.
I will definitely. I'll send you a written apology.
That's fine. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to finally chat to you after planning this for so long. And I guess even though we're in peak season, it's great that we found a time to quickly have a chat, because between the three of us, we're all slumped with work at the moment, which is great, but crazy.
Yeah,
100%.
Sure. And I know, every time I go to a wedding, when you were there, I see your work first before I see you, and I'm just like, yeah, I know this is Two Wild Hearts wedding, because it is just so good. And I'm not saying that just trying to suck up here, but I don't know, just how you put things together, the styling, like the colors. Matt, like, how is it, right? Like, we walk into a wedding and, like, straight away, we know, like, we get a general, like, vibe of the day, like, based on, like, the styling, especially based on the flowers. And if we go, typically we go to the ceremony first, I drop some gear off. And it's just a good indication of what the rest of the day is going to be like.
100%. And I feel like it's not just, like we're not trying to sound like stuck up dudes here. It is lovely when we get to go to a wedding and there's a stylist and a florist there that has worked some absolute magic. And look, it definitely does change, I guess, just the feel of the day for sure. And also, not even just that, like, little early hot tip out there, you don't really want to be a guest you don't want your guests or your friends having to do the styling and the setting up for you. So, this is why we've got Emily on to talk all about this goodness today. So maybe before we jump in and we talk too much about the specifics of it, Emily, let's have a quick chat to you about, let's find out a little bit about you and who you are. Give us a bit of a rundown.
Oh my gosh, I hate talking about myself, but, well, I'm Emily. I'm the owner of Two Wild Hearts. It's been almost 4 years of this business, but it's very much evolved over the last few years. So, yeah, gosh, what do you want to know? Do you want to know, I guess, how I started the business? Maybe? That's a good one.
How did you start? Yeah. I think that's a good way.
Okay, beautiful. Well, I guess I was into floristry. I was working in shops, managing a store, things like that. Back up home, like I actually grew up not on the South Coast. I grew up sort of around Camden area. So when I was moving down to the South Coast, I pretty much was like, I either got to like start my own thing, like just go for it, or just I'm going to end up working in a shop for somebody else and just keep going. So I started Emily Nicole Florals at the time. Like, it was just my name and the word flowers. And I was like, I'm just going to start working and contracting for other people. So I started doing that, and I just to test it out, and I just really fell in love with weddings. I had barely even been a guest at weddings before I sort of really started working at them, and I just fell in love. Like, I just fell in love with watching the whole production come together and being a part of someone's best day ever. Like, it's literally someone's dream day, and you get to be a part of making it amazing. But yeah, that's sort of how the business started, and then it's obviously evolved massively since 2019. What are we now? 2023. Yeah.
Isn't it wild that it's only been 4 years? Like, I feel like it's been longer than that, which is crazy.
So it kind of transitioned, I guess, post-COVID or post the first COVID lockdown. I wanted to, as our business was growing and we're having more staff on board and doing a lot more than just florals, getting into that styling side, I kind of had to pull away my personal name from the business and create more of a company, because we had more than just florals and it was more than just myself. So that's where the sort of name change came from. But I wanted to be more than just, florals. I wanted to help these clients, these brides that would come to me with all of the things they had and needed. I wanted to be able to serve all of them. So introducing the styling and a few other services that we have now, to allow these brides to have a one-stop shop. That's where Two Wild Hearts kind of came from. It's like not particularly a name that describes our services as much, but it was more of it's about you. So the two people that are getting married, the Two Wild Hearts, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. Because it's definitely like a brand. Like when you look at your brand, like you definitely see and like feel a very like intimate, kind of like adventurous, like a personal like brand to it. Like, and I really get that personal feel, which I'm all about branding, and I just absolutely love that. And obviously like your quality like matches like your brand persona as well. So good on you for that.
That's exactly what I wanted. And like you said before, like I want people, whether it's guests or vendors, to walk into a wedding and go, oh, Two Wild Hearts have been here. It's like, it's more about a brand and a company as opposed to just one person doing flowers.
Would you say you have a signature like look, so to speak? I know we're jumping forward here a little bit, but like, is there like, would you ever say like, if you walked into a wedding and you were like, you know, you were saying that, you know, you want people to know this is a Two Wild Hearts wedding. Like,
Yeah.
do you have a signature look that you try to bring to most weddings?
Yeah.
Obviously, every wedding's different.
Yeah, every wedding is different. And especially when it does come to like styling, colors, things like that, every wedding can be so different. Different venues bring a different vibe. But we have a pretty signature style. Like, we do have a lot of a coastal luxe style, and you can see that like a lot of weddings we do on the South Coast, whether it's the Cove or Sea Cliff, we really want to bring across that. And you can kind of see like behind me in the warehouse, our warehouse is like pure white, there's timber, there's rugs, there's like rattan furniture, all of those sort of like soft coastally luxe elements. Like, we love to bring that into your wedding. So I'm always bringing rugs and different vessels and gold elements, and that's when you can walk in and go, oh, look at like these beautiful tablescapes, that's Two Wild Hearts, or look at that, like that ceremony backdrop, that's that. And even with the flowers, like, we do have a very, you know, a lot of florists have different styles. There's very gardeny style florists, there's your more modern style. I feel like we're sort of somewhere in between. We definitely love that like luxe, lush feel, so lots of roses and orchids, those sort of premium style flowers, because it is such a special day. Like, when are you ever going to have those premium flowers just sitting at home? Like, let's use them on your wedding day. So I think that's what determines our style a little bit, is just like luxe, coastally, and relaxed. Like, there's definitely venues that we don't do because they don't suit our style, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that. And I suppose like as a couple, as a newly like engaged couple, like it's a crazy world. Like, and there's like this level of just like anxiety and like overwhelmed with all the things that you have to do. And like, even as a vendor, right? Like, I see so many, like Matt's saying, like, we just see so many like florists and stylists and planners and like kind of everything within that realm, and it does get like confusing, like what is what. And you know, like some florists obviously will have different styles as well, and different levels of services that they offer. So like, what are the services that you probably like offer yourself, and what are the services that, you know, is really like where you shine and where you want to be?
Yeah, absolutely. So flowers obviously was our first thing that we ever started doing, and my like first love, it's like my first thing. It's my art form is flowers, and we've been doing that since 2019. And then sort of mid 2020, we introduced like a massive sort of, well, we grew it quite slowly, but a styling range. So we found that flowers and styling kind of goes hand in hand. You know, you start to get vessels and candles, and then, you know, the more and more you add to your inventory, the better it gets. But we then began to offer styling as an, you know, exclusive offering with our flowers. We don't allow any like dry hire for any of our clients, because we want our current clients to have full pick of that inventory and have really good quality, and making sure that when it rocks up on your day, it's perfect, it's clean, it's fresh, it hasn't been like damaged or used by randoms throughout the week, if that makes sense. So like a really exclusive inventory line, and it just helps everything flow on the day. So I'm not trying to communicate with different stylists and make sure that everything's going to fit on the tables or the colors are going to match. We're doing the whole thing, so it flows throughout the space. You know, as well as candles and vases, we've got so much now, whether it's furniture and napkins and runners and all of those bits and pieces. So that was our sort of main thing for the good year or so. Coming to this year, we've introduced something a little bit fun. We now do stationery and signage. So same thing, something that our couples just kept asking for and needing, to sort of match in with their styling and their tablescapes. So that's something we haven't actually promoted yet, because we have been so swamped with our current orders and our current brides that we just haven't even had a chance. And then something that we are slowly doing for a lot of our larger scale couples is coordination. So there's a lot of venues on the South Coast that all three of us do that are DIY. So coordination is a massive component that we are offering, you know, very soon, and launching particular packages for particular venues. So there are 4 key services. So flowers, styling, stationery and signage, and coordination.
Tell you what, you've heard it here first, folks, because there's a couple of little, I feel like we're like a little radio station dropping some hot tips and some new products that are coming out. Like there's so much in that like, you know, obviously we are going to continue to talk about today, but like, yeah, I feel like at the start, like, you know, floral and styling is such something that I feel like if both of you are like, if one person is covering both of those things, like it makes life just that little bit easier as well. Like, obviously there are florists out there that only do one, you know, they don't do floral and styling. And then there's other people out there that just do styling. So what would you say is like the difference between, say, like a floral and stylist as a collective versus just a stylist? Because I know that you do work with stylists as well who solely do styling.
Yeah, absolutely. It can absolutely still work hand in hand. Like we work alongside some amazing people, and you know, we can recommend some amazing people because it's all about communication and just making sure that what's coming together on your wedding is going to work, both practically and beautifully as well. So not only do we want it to look good, we want it to be practical. A lot of our, you know, couples have share platters and all of these crazy things that we actually need space for, you know, practical aisleways so our photographers and videographers can get down there, all of that. So, you know, we can have a stylist rock up. They might provide arbors and furniture and table styling, and we just come in and put the final touches on those items if someone just wants floristry, which is absolutely fine. When we're doing a combined, it does work a little bit easier. We can create arrangements directly into our own vessels. We can design unique arrangements around, you know, our own candles and let it all flow in really beautifully, which if we weren't working directly with that stylist or we didn't have those products straight away, we wouldn't be able to do that. And that's kind of where we built that from, is like, rather than having to, you know, work on the day, rocking up and working somebody else's product or, you know, handling it, we're doing it without our own, and we can prep a lot of things here and all of that. So, it's just sort of it's getting rid of that blurred line of who does what and who's setting out this and who's setting out that. It's just one whole team that works together to make it beautiful and cohesive.
Love that.
It really cuts down the communication like need for multiple people too, which, like, you know, I feel like it always gets to like the pointy end of like a wedding planning situation for couples. Like, you know, let's say it's a month or 2 months out, they're getting bombarded with so much information from so many different people. Like, everyone's wanting stuff from them. Like, if you can go to one person and deal with, like, you know, the whole styling aspect of the wedding, including, you know, that's including florals, it's including signage, it's including like stationery, like you are like literally ticking like, you know, a large portion of the, like, I guess, logistical nightmare that some people do have, right? Because then they're only coming to you, like, to you, and you have your head wrapped around all of it already.
Exactly. Even
we're a big fan of keeping. We're a big fan of keeping things simple, and as easy as possible for the couple. And like for me, like just listening to that, and you've got those like levels of skills that you can provide, like that level of service, especially, you know, they're your flowers, like they're your, like, your baby, your arts, and then you know how to specifically style them to the way that you want them. I suppose there's certain stylists out there that have a very like certain vibe, but if you're looking to simplify like your planning aspect and having this kind of all-in-one and like logistically keep it within the one place, the one person, the one company, like, man, that's a quick win right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously you're not like the only one doing it too, Emily, right? Like you've got a team of, you know, people around you helping you to like make all this happen, because like obviously people listening to this, they're like, wow, this girl's like superwoman. Like you are, but you know, like you obviously need people around you to help make this come to life, right? Especially when you're talking about things like styling, florals, signage, stationery, and planning. Like there's a lot in that. And you know, not one lady can just take on that by herself.
No, I definitely tried for a little bit and got very worn out. But no, absolutely. We have an amazing team. We have 3 beautiful casual staff. So they're our sort of, I'm going to say full-time and staff, as opposed to a lot of people in the industry use a lot of contractors and freelancers. So I've got our girls that are at most weddings every week. but we have a beautiful senior florist. Her name's Zoe. She does a lot of the making on site. So although I am, the head florist and doing a lot of the designing and the ordering and things like that, she actually executes quite a lot, because I can't physically do it all by myself, but she's amazing. She gets our vision. She has a beautiful quality of work that is in line with my style. So we'll work together on some of the bigger things, but she'll really take the reins on a lot of that floral side, along with, prepping on a Friday when all the flowers come. She'll prep them all so I can work on the back end of the business a lot. We have a beautiful warehouse assistant here, Kayla, who is like a logistics manager. So she makes sure that, all of the things are going in and out at the start of the week. So all of the candles are coming back to us and counting them and then reloading them, prepping all the napkins and all of that sort of labor-y stuff that I don't have time to do. And then Peter's kind of my right-hand girl. She does a lot of the graphic design elements. So she is a qualified graphic designer, and together we work on like a really good vibe for the stationery and signage based off the mood boards I create. And then she pretty much executes that, sends them off to print, and all four of us just come together with this, it's like a little puzzle, and it just all comes together so perfectly. Like, I'm obsessed with these girls. They're just the most amazing, talented group, and they all just get me. Like, it's just perfect.
So good.
An
Love
in-house
it.
graphic designer. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and she's amazing. Yeah. It's all about, like, these are skills that we can teach ourselves. And, I did graphic design at uni for a little bit as well, but I didn't finish it. But, these are skills that we can all kind of teach ourselves, but it all just comes down to creativity and having an eye and a vision, and then obviously the skills to, make it happen and produce quality work as well.
Yeah, for sure. And like we're going for a little bit of a rebrand at the moment. We've been trying to do this for a couple of months, haven't we, Matt?
Yeah, it's a slow process.
And we finally got around to it. It took us so long to create like our mood board with it, and it just took us way longer than we thought. But like we got the vision that we wanted, and like we found like a graphic designer to really like bring our like vision to life, and it's like really starting to take fruition. So like I fully get that, but wow, like an in-house like graphic designer, like it just opens up so more possibilities. Like that is amazing.
Yeah, no, she's fantastic.
And imagine if you're the couple having to do this too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you were the couple having to like sit there and like create a mood board and like do all this like back end stuff, like you're literally taking care of all of that for them, which is like epic.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, I just don't think there's other like stylists and florists that are really just doing this. Like I'm just like mind blown at the moment.
Well, it's just, like our end goal, and I've always just wanted, whether it was flowers or, the whole shebang, like I just want our couples, what's already a really stressful, it shouldn't be stressful, but what can be a really stressful, high pressure time of their lives. Like they're planning a massive event at the end of the day. And, we both work at a lot of DIY venues. So you're doing a lot yourself. You're bringing in everything from tables and chairs and all of that. There's so many pieces to the puzzle. It can get so messy and stressful really quickly. We just wanted to like be that people that they can come to, and we can just have, make it as easy and as organized as possible for them. Not everybody that books a DIY venue, books it because they want to do it themselves. They book it because it's a really nice spot, or it fits the amount of people they need, or it's got a beautiful backdrop. And then they realize, oh shit, I have to do this all myself. Like I need help. So yeah, and we have that a lot on the South Coast. There's so many beautiful big Airbnbs and houses on the hills of Gerringong that people come here for, and then that's fantastic because we get to do something different every single time. But it comes with a lot of organization and stress on top of an already stressful time. So yeah, that was my goal. It's just being that person and just being like your wedding best friend that can do everything for you. But I find like our whole process, our whole onboarding, our whole booking process is I try and make even that as easy as possible, forms and timelines and all of these things for the couples, just to make it as smooth and the communication as easy as possible.
All right, so like with DIY venues and all-inclusive venues, and I know that you've kind of had a chat about like certain venues go for a certain look and a certain style, which like really like tells me that like you're trying to provide like as much value as possible to suit that styling for that certain venue, especially when it's in relation to your other like services as well. But did you, I suppose, like have a preference if it's like for a DIY, like start with a clean slate, or are there certain venues that you prefer to just go for and that's like your bread and butter?
Oh, I have probably about 3 venues that's 4. I'm sticking up 4 fingers. 3 venues that I kind of...
That's right, we can't see it.
kind of on rotation, and they're all very different. So, every couple that comes with us, we don't have packages. Every wedding is so different in terms of their requirements. So this is where it can get, really overwhelming to people, because it's not just a pick and, put together package. We really quote based on what they're needing. So you could have a wedding at, the beautiful Bendooley Stables at the Southern Highlands, and that the team there have everything pretty much under control in terms of timelines and floor layouts, crockery, cutlery, furniture. You just need to come in with the beautiful flowers and styling. So these days can be often a little bit easier for us, but there's not much room for creativity in terms of installations or anything like that too much. Like there's a little bit, but in terms of maybe creating a whole different vibe with tables or chairs or furniture, we can't really do that. If you were to turn around and book a beautiful venue like Seacliff on the South Coast, on the hills of Gerringong, it's literally an empty barn. So we have to help guide you through the selection of tables, chairs, crockery, cutlery, napkins, all of those elements. And sometimes that's really fun because you can create so many different vibes. Like we've done weddings there. Matt, we were together, well, both of us, me, Matt and Tim were together with a really black, red, pink, fun, modern wedding. That was just, come from an empty room. And then the next week you do something that's like coastally and tans and browns and natural woods and things like that. So, DIY is fun. It comes with a lot more elements and maybe a lot more investment. You'll really have to invest in hiring furniture and hiring setup and coordination, but you get to make it your own versus a venue that you just, an all-inclusive venue. You can tweak it a lot with beautiful flowers and styling, but the bones of it, you can't tweak too much. So they both have their pros and cons, and I guess it's up to you, how much work you want to do or how much work you want to hire as well, because that's what we would recommend is hiring, hiring the help.
So good. I feel like, having like a DIY venue versus an all-inclusive venue is something that is like widely chatted about, but also not known quite so much to all couples. There's a lot of couples out there that probably think, oh, that venue's amazing, and then when you start to look at the nitty-gritty and what's involved, they don't actually realize all the time what's included, what's not included, and how much maybe extra money or time or effort or all of the above it's going to take to maybe have that venue, because there's not included tables, chairs, all the things that you would, I guess, typically expect from a venue that you would have. So how does it work? We're probably going to talk about it a bit more soon in your process, but how does it work from your end in terms of navigating that DIY process?
Yeah, absolutely. So we obviously will cover your flowers, your styling and things like that. We are putting together currently packages that are suited to each venue. So there is a couple of venues that we've been to multiple times, the Seacliff, the Cove, venues like that, where they all kind of have different requirements. Like some of them already have tables and chairs, some of them don't have anything at all. So we're setting up different packages of how much we actually have to help you and how much you can do yourself or how much the venue can do. So we're going to do those for people. Um, I just lost my way and now I can't remember what I was talking about.
Do
Um,
they typically come to you with a vision, or do they provide a
yeah.
mood board, or is that something like you walk them through?
Yeah, I like to walk them through. So when someone inquires, I do often send them a booking schedule. So they'll book an appointment. So we offer sort of two different services. We offer a Zoom consult or an in-person consult. And with that booking request, they'll fill out a little bit more of a detailed form, but I don't ask too much. Like, I don't want to overwhelm them in picking a style or a theme straight away either. So it might just be like, tick a couple of boxes, send me your Pinterest link and let's just get an overall vibe of where your head's at. But my first few questions, say they jump on a Zoom, my first few questions is like, what is like the vibe you're going for? And sometimes people are straight up and going like, we want a disco. Like, let's go disco vibes. Or people will be like, oh, we just want like a chill,
Love it.
chill garden party. Or sometimes people will be like, oh, we have a 5-piece, or we have a string quartet and there's going to be violins and things like that. So straight away, that's like, I can get the vibe from what maybe they've booked already. I usually ask like, have you booked any other vendors? And I can get a vibe of like the photographer and the style of photos they want. But yeah, we pretty much walk them through. So when someone's on a Zoom, they're obviously a little bit nervy, like jumping on a Zoom face to face with someone, they don't know. Obviously, we try and just be super relaxed and welcoming. And I just usually guide them through the whole thing. Like, I'll let them know that we'll go top to bottom of their wedding day. We'll go through bridal party, ceremony, reception. I'll guide and suggest the things that they might need for that particular venue or all of that. And a lot of the time they really, like, I jumped off one today and she was like, thank you so much. Like, that was so valuable. Just all the information that she didn't even think about. She goes, that was 10 times better than just emailing someone and getting a random number quotated back, which we could do. But I want to get to know you and what you're exactly after. And you might not need all of that floral element. You might just need a little bit here, or what you're wanting might not work at that venue. So we really chat through what's going to work, what you need, and then put together a quote from there. So once we do that, the quote usually involves a beautiful mood board as well that we put together. Especially if they haven't been able to come in for an in-person quote, the mood board just really helps showcase our styling and colours and the vibe that we're going for.
So good. And I just want to jump back a little bit there because you mentioned about doing the in-person styling sessions, right?
Yeah.
And I know we've chatted about this before, and I am a massive fan of this because I know from my past is I was a builder back in the day before I became a wedding photographer, and I know there's a lot of people out there that can't visually see what is happening if you're talking to them, or if there's a mood board, they can't really see what it looks like if their wedding is going to come to life with you.
Yeah.
So maybe just talk us through that styling session and what that looks like from Two Wild Hearts, and how that I guess it's really unique. So I'd love to hear more about what it is that you do with those sessions.
Yes. Oh my gosh, they're so much fun. I love them. I love meeting people in person and chatting in person, and that's definitely one way we can do it. Like, Zoom is fantastic. We can still meet and see each other and share photos, but nothing beats in-person communication and chatting. So we have the complimentary Zoom consults, but then we have a in-person consult. Now, they are paid, but it is just obviously to cover our time and stuff that we're spending with you. That payment does come off their invoice, though, if they book. So you come to our warehouse now. We're in Warrawong, so just south of Wollongong. Pretty nice and central to everything. Our warehouse, we've got, all of our styling products downstairs, the flower studio downstairs, but upstairs we have a really beautiful consult room / lunchroom sometimes when we need to eat. But this consult room, it has a beautiful dinner table on it. We actually have 2 tables now. We have a round table and a rectangle table, which makes sense in a moment. But we pretty much use that space to go through the same things we would on Zoom. So go through your inspiration, chat through, I guess, your wish list of things that you want. But then we kind of get to go downstairs. We get to go shopping. look at whether it's gold accents we're liking or black accents, or are we loving that coastal rattan look. We get to pick all those styling products and we get to lay them out on the table and play around with the design and the feel. And I feel like for people, not everyone's a creative person. I get teachers and doctors and all these people coming in who don't have the time to think about the finer details of what color napkin or fabric they're going to have. They just want someone to do it, and they still want to see it and know what they're picking, but they just want somebody else to make it work, and that's where we come in. So styling sessions, we set up the whole table, we make it look beautiful, light the candles, and I think it kind of just puts them in that space of, this is what it's going to look like on the day. And they get really excited. Like, some people cry, like they get so emotional. And we obviously have, round tables for round table settings and the long tables for your long banquet style settings. And it helps them visualize as well how much they actually need, or they might not actually need that much because they've got share platters. So yeah, that's really, really fun and helpful. We've also got a lot of the, stationery samples and things like that as well. So you can put all of those elements together in one day, in an hour and a half with your stylist, and then we'll come back to you. Same with the Zoom consults, we'll come back to you with a full breakdown along with a mood board as well. So a full quote after that. So yeah, 2 different ways to get a quote. Both involve meeting my couples and getting to know them really well. And then, you get a quote, and then it's up to you pretty much if you want us or not.
So there's so much, there's so much value in being able to come and see something in person, even being able to touch it. I know this sounds really weird, but sometimes there's a difference in being able to see it in a Zoom or any of that goodness. But when you're physically being able to be there, you're able to touch it. You're able to really I guess go through your, as you said, you have a big stock list of different items. They can go and see them all. I know whenever I look online versus actually seeing stuff in person, it's always very different. So I feel that is almost invaluable and really sets you apart from the rest, because I don't know many other people that are doing this and offering this type of service, which I bloody love. Yeah,
no, it's so much fun. And it's a huge outlay for us to have this beautiful space and somewhere where you can come, but that's exactly the way I envisioned it. And we just want people to be coming in and out of here, seeing, the girls working with the flowers, and see the whole catalogue, and of course, see the quality of our products. And maybe our napkins are a little bit more expensive than others, but they're really real, 100% French linen. They're perfect, and that's what you want on your wedding day. So absolutely, we just want people to see and feel what they're getting and what they're paying for. Flowers are a huge investment, so why can't I need to give them that little bit of extra value of, this is what you're going to get and experience before they pay, really.
100%. And so talking about we're talking about investment and spending, in the wedding world, there is obviously, especially when it comes to florals and styling, there's a lot of talk about the cost of things, right? And, obviously everything these days, well, everyone's talking about money, right? It's always a thing. And, I know in the past I've had chats with other people and they're the wedding tax, that's not, it's not really a thing. But I guess for you personally, and for not even just for maybe you personally, but in general, in the floral styling industry, there are minimum spends, and let's just talk a little bit about minimum spends and why they're there and why they're important to have for each wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh gosh, there are so many reasons. I think maybe reason number 1 might be demand. In a way, we have multiple quotes out for multiple weddings. I guess from a business point of view, we do want to be booking weddings over a certain amount to ensure that we can keep the business going. So when there's a little bit of competition and demand there, that's probably number 1. Not a super important thing, but it does play a part in it. Number 2, I guess, every wedding vendor or florist is different. We have different outlays. Some of us, and I've been there before, I've worked out of a home, out of a garage, out of a bedroom. You have smaller outgoings when you're, and smaller services really. When you're grown and you're a little bit bigger and you've got a warehouse full of styling, that obviously comes with higher outgoings. So there are certain, payments that we need to make each week, that is, we need to make sure that we're bringing in that amount of money to ensure our business grows and we can serve you those amazing styling products and that amazing service of coming in here and picking out your items and things like that. So that's another one, is just sort of obviously expenses and outgoings. And that's maybe why some vendors might be different. Some might be working out of a home studio. Some might have a larger complex. They all have different services and things that they need to cater for. What would be another one? I guess, kind of in this demand, us florists and vendors, we go through quiet seasons as well. So we do need to be sort of making our income over those busier periods so that we can then spread it out over those quieter periods. So, for example, we have 3 months without weddings this year. So, when it seems like we're bringing in all this money, we actually have to put it aside for winter time as well. We'll still be servicing you with quotes and things like that, but that money's kind of spreading across that time. Gosh, I had another one in my head, but now I can't remember.
That's right.
Even just touching on like the fact that you have like so much like styling goodness like stored there, you know, obviously things do over time break and you have to replace them and things like that. Like you also have to store them and, for security reasons, like all of that stuff, like that's something that, just that alone, there's a need for that. But I feel like just from a like professional point of view, like the fact that like you can have a space that is set up already all nicely for them, they can walk in, they can do that styling session with you in a like, I guess a bit of a neutral ground, because it'd be really awkward coming into like, I don't know, your house, and sitting down at like, your kitchen table or something, or walking into your garage to do that. Like, yes, it would work 100%. Don't get me wrong, but there's not that professionalism there around that. So, like that's, I feel like just that alone, all of the things you're saying make sense, but it's nice just to kind of like, I guess, dive into it and find out a little bit more as to why, like, a minimum spend is a minimum spend. And, it all makes sense, but I feel like some people don't understand that.
Yeah, even
there are reasons why.
Yeah, like even from a supply and demand, right? Like it's the same for any professional service, right? Like, yes, there is a wedding season, but like we can only service so many weddings.
Yeah.
Right, and we have to price ourselves accordingly.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Me and Tim have this discussion with ourselves all the time. We're always like, how do we like pretty much every Saturday, I would say for me, I'm pretty much booked every single Saturday this year except for 3 or 4. And they're pretty much in the dead of winter. And other than that, like I'm booked out, and I've been booked out for probably a year for those Saturdays. And like it's one of those things like, yes, it's supply and demand, but like, how do you get around that? And for us, like there's no option, but for you, like the best option is maybe, yes, making some sort of minimum spend of some, like that you're comfortable with. And, because you don't want to go out there and do a $1,000 styling floral job when you could be making 10 times that quite easily on the same date.
Yeah.
But it's, like it comes down to your product as well. Like Two Wild Hearts is a premium product. Like it attracts a premium crowd.
Yeah. And it's tricky. Like we are a small group still, and even a wedding, even if someone wanted to spend $1,000 on a backdrop and that's all they wanted, sometimes that can still take me the full Saturday of getting out there, setting it up, waiting around to move it. And if I don't have anything else booked in, I can't be in 2 places at once. So it's kind of, not only are you just booking us out for that wedding day, you're pretty much booking us out for the week. Our girls are packing right now. They're packing, Mondays and Tuesdays, they're doing all the packing. Wednesday, Thursday, all the flowers come in. So, a lot of people often do think about, but it's just one day. It's not. It's a full week, and it's that full week's rent and that full week's wages and everything that involves in it. We need to hit that mark plus more to keep running. And sometimes it comes down to that peak Saturday that, everyone wants that Saturday wedding. Well, you kind of, you have to fight for it a little bit, and we have to have those certificates in place so that we aren't just getting booked up with $17,000 weddings, like $1,000 weddings. We want bigger weddings so that we're not overworking ourselves either. And, sending people here, there, and everywhere for
100%.
For less quality work. We want a one quality wedding, so we can give you our best as well.
So good. Like, I feel like, everything you've been saying has just like, I don't know, it's made me, I guess, realize how much more effort and like how much, I guess, like just time you have to put into, like, I already knew it, but like you go to the next level with it a little bit, I feel like, which is amazing. And that's why when we were chatting to you, it was like, me and Tim were like, we have to get Emily on because you've just got some, I guess what you're doing at the moment is amazing. And like, you know, you're really elevating the wedding industry, which we love. We're all about that. I feel like you would be someone great to ask. So we're going to ask you, like, have you got any like golden nuggets of advice? Because here on the Make It Epic Wedding podcast, we're all about golden nuggets. You know, we love making sure we're giving the advice that people want to hear. So yeah, like, is there anything that you have in that brain of yours that you're like, people need to hear this?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I think my main thing is honestly just like investing in good vendors. You know, it seems like a lot at the time, but invest in good vendors that even have that experience and have that knowledge to help you get through this process, especially if you're a DIY venue couple, a good coordinator, a good florist stylist to manage that setup for you, the heavy furniture, things like that, that you do not want to be doing the day before your wedding with your cans and your nails and all of these elements that you just don't think about, friends and guests arriving. You want to focus on that weekend. You don't want to focus on setting up furniture and sweating and packing it down at midnight. That's our job. like, you know, invest in that. If you've got a DIY venue, it doesn't mean you have to DIY it. But I just want, you know, like, I just want couples to know that they can enjoy the process. Like, it doesn't have to be stressful. Like, get good vendors, you know, get organized quite early and sit back and enjoy the fact that you're engaged, you know, to the love of your life, and enjoy the process of pretty much like creating the best party you've ever had. Like, it's going to be the best party. And, you know, we do a lot of really beautiful coastally white clean weddings, but I think one of my tips as well is just like, bring your personality to the wedding. Like, if you met your partner, if you met your partner at a rave, let's do disco balls. Let's do fun lights. Like, let's do streamers. Like, let's do all the fun things. If you, like, let's bring your personality into your wedding as well. That would be my fun tip, because it's just a reflection of you as a couple, and you don't have to do the standard, like, whites and greens and traditions, buttonholes, corsages, all of those, like, boring things. You don't have to do them. Like, there's no rules in the industry, especially with us in florists and styling. Like, you don't have to do traditions and rules. Make it your own and bring your personality to your party, your wedding party.
Yeah, absolutely love that. And like, and that's part of the reason why we actually started this, right? Like you've hit the nail on the head. Like, it's your wedding day, make it your own, make it personal, do the things that are unique to you, and like, make it bloody epic. And like, I say that to couples all the time, like, think of the things that are unique to you guys, and like, let's just bring that out, like, bring it in for each and every aspect, like, of your wedding planning. Yeah. But most of all, nail on the head, enjoy the wedding planning process.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be stressful.
And that wedding that we did recently, like the three of us that for Captain Luke, like, that was such an epic wedding, right? And I recently made a reel, actually, that went on my Instagram, and it was like something as simple as, I think I wrote, like, if you want the vibe, you've got to bring the vibe, right?
Yeah.
Like, these guys, like, totally thought of something they wanted to do, and they, like, executed it, and, you know, it was totally what they, like, it was everything they wanted at the end of the day, and, like, you know, it made it so much more special and so much more fun, like, and all they did was something simple, like, they got, like, giant party poppers, and on the entrance of their, like, reception, they, like, got their bridal party in there and popped them all, and, like, your florals are, like, on top. It's like, it just all worked out really well, right? Yeah. It was an epic wedding, and they made sure that they executed that wedding just the way they wanted to, and it wasn't something that happens week in and week out, because it's not often that we have an entrance that's that exciting, or, you know, things like that. Like, so yeah, look, what you said at the end there of making sure you're bringing the vibe or doing things the way you want to do it, like, that's, if you have listened to any of our podcasts in the past, like, we are all about that, and that's literally ticking the boxes of what Make It Epic is. Yeah,
and Kat and Luke, they had
so good.
They had, like, flags, like their cultural flags flying around everywhere, and they even had, was it their soccer team? Like, they loved, was it Manchester? I don't know. I'm not a soccer. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah, she loved red, and that was her team. And that's where we got the red inspiration from. Is like, she's like, I still want to be beautiful and elegant, but I love red. Like, let's just do red. And that's not a typical wedding color, but we did reds and pinks and black elements, and it was just really sexy and fun, and probably contributed to that dance floor, really. Like, it just really kicked it off.
Yeah. It was an epic wedding. So good. So, Emily, I think we've literally spoken so much about, you and obviously the elements of of what you do as well. Maybe just tell us where we can find you and where, I guess, everyone can see more of what you're doing, because it's bloody amazing what you're getting up to at the moment.
Thank you. Well, look, I feel like Instagram is just the main thing for everybody. So we're on Instagram at 2 Wild Hearts Co. Look, I haven't been the best at posting lately, but we're pretty much on the stories. I've always got my head on there having a chat about something. Look, I started a TikTok, but I haven't been on there for a while, so maybe I need to be on that a little bit more. But super easy. If you head to our Instagram or you head to our website, so 2wildheartsco.com, you can just click through, send your inquiry. If you've booked your wedding venue and you've booked your date, they're the 2 things that we need. You can send an inquiry through straight away, and we can get the ball rolling. We're heading into winter, so like I said, we've got a few months off. That's when we're doing a lot of our booking and onboarding, so it's a great time. We should have plenty of availability to chat and get a quote out to you nice and quick. So June, July, August, perfect timing for new people, new consults and couples.
Amazing. So good. Yeah, jump onto those styling sessions too. That's something that's super unique, and I feel like it's something that's really valuable. So definitely check them out. But as always, it's been so good to have you on, Emily, and we've been loving the info that you've been giving us today. And I feel like everyone's going to get so much out of it. It's been epic.
Beautiful.
Love those golden nuggets.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, having a chat.
So good. Well, as always, we always love it when we get to hear from you guys. So please reach out to us, leave us a review. We've been getting a few lately, which has been epic, and we're all about those reviews. So please continue to do it so that me and Tim get some, keep growing that size of our head, so we can continue to jump on here each week and deliver you guys some golden nuggets. But until next week, we will speak then.
Catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.